Hey, this is Ken M.
Padawan J.
Coach Duffy.
From the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour podcast. Every week, the ODPH is talking sports, movies, TV, comics, and more. It's always a parlay of topics on each episode. You can find the ODPH on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, and wherever you find great podcasts, such as the one you're listening to right now. Don't forget to check out OchoDuroParlayHour.com, where you can find the links to all of the ODPH social media accounts, links to the bands whose music you hear each week on the show, hashtag 607 podcast info, and parlay points, our companion blog section of the show. Thanks for listening to the ODPH. Now get back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
Hey there, this is John from Pino Comics.
And I'm Lloyd, also from Pino Comics.
And I'm the other John, and you get it by now. As you may know, we sometimes use language on this show that can be described as...
Filthy.
Okay.
Reprehensible?
Crude?
Sure.
Nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, guys. We all know that it's just plain out gutter talk.
You've been warned. Listen in.
You came for Pint of Comics. You've arrived at Scary Larry's House of Universal Horrors.
Got him. We got him. Don't kill him. What happened? Look at that. How is he? He's dead.
And today, we lay to rest Scary Larry's House of Universal Horrors. Sir John, Johnny Ganache, and the Manster, along with Scary Larry Dwyer.
Yay.
All right.
Man, it's been a trip. We started this. Now, we're recording this. This is not going to be out right away, but we're recording this one the week of Labor Day. It's September 6th.
Yes.
We started this journey.
Pretty shitty week for all of us, I think.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Well, no, Larry's had a pretty good week, though.
Oh, yeah, the best. Fucking top-notch.
Top-notch week. Larry, do you want to get into that or no?
Yeah, sure.
All right, Larry, why don't you tell everybody out there, well, first of all, thank you for coming tonight.
No problem.
Because your situation, I begged you not to come
Considering
tonight.
the
Unbelievable
proximity.
that you're here.
Yeah.
Well, considering actually today's Friday, considering what you were doing 1 week ago today,
1 week ago
Yeah.
today.
it's pretty impressive. So what were you doing?
I was in the hospital 1 week ago today. Recovering from cryoablation surgery, which is they went in through my groin with two fucking tubes up through the veins to my heart to burn away pathways in my heart to try to stop the atrial fibrillation that I get.
They went through your groin
They went through my groin
to get to your heart.
I can show you where they went.
Because that's the shortest route to your heart.
Everything goes through the groin.
Everything goes through the groin.
My absolute favorite thing of the show so far is how John is questioning medical science. Like, there's some doctor out there who's like right now working on the shortest way to get to the heart, and
I'm
John's
just
going,
saying.
John's like, I've got a
quack.
better way.
It's not going through your groin.
It's obviously the belly button, dickheads.
Yeah. Now they went through the groin, both
It's
sides.
through the nipples.
Both sides.
Both sides.
Both sides of the groin.
Yep.
See.
Wow, it was a double groin ablation.
Double groin ablation.
Wow. So how are you feeling?
Awful. You? I totally underestimated the surgery. They were like, I was like, it doesn't sound like nothing. No big deal. Out of the hospital the next day. Fine. Great. But no, it's been rough. While the heart heals, I keep going into AFib. They said that's kind of normal sometimes. So I'm just rolling with it.
While the
heart heals.
Yep.
Kind of normal.
Had like 16 hours straight of AFib yesterday. So
And I want to point out to everybody,
Yeah.
just so I don't seem
Yesterday.
since I don't seem like the biggest dick
till
on
7
earth.
in the morning this morning.
Yeah, I mentioned to Larry
This is how
multiple times.
important this project is.
This is fucking Pint of Universal Horror, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to be here.
Oh,
Fuck.
man.
Where's my IV? Anybody have my IV?
We would have done in the hospital if we had to.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah,
That'd have been great.
That'd have been awesome.
That'd have been great.
That'd have been awesome.
No, yes, you did tell me that I didn't have to.
I mean, not that I needed to tell you that, but
Right.
you know, I mean, one of the things that made me laugh was, you know, I talked to Larry a lot on like little messengers, and when he mentioned the you know, I knew the surgery was coming, but he mentioned it again last week, and I kind of said, you know, so what, you got the week off the following week or whatever? Because he had said, you know, we'll do this the following week, and I'm like, dude, you're having, and I put in capital letters, heart surgery, and he's like,
Through your groin.
he's like, I'll be back to work on Tuesday. Like, it's no, were you back to work Tuesday?
I was back to work Tuesday. I went to work every day this week.
Jesus,
You're
Christ,
probably
Larry.
out longer for a hernia
Yep.
Yeah,
than for that.
Yeah, a broken arm, you would have gotten at least a couple days out.
Yeah, my boss kept trying to make me go home. Finally, she finally did today. Actually,
Yeah.
I went home to work because I was just exhausted after the fucking, you know, all night last night with the AFib. So finally, at like 2:30, I was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna go finish out the day from home." She's like, "No, you're just gonna log out and go."
Yeah. Holy shit.
She's like, "Don't fucking log back."
Oh
on."
yeah, let's not do this anymore.
Yeah. So thank you, Kathleen.
Well, Larry, we're glad you're with us. Whether I'm hoping that maybe it gives you a couple hours of
Yeah, me too.
good time and
Yeah.
Good times.
But like I said, we started this. We started the laughing and loving, making your way, making your way if you can. Temporary layoffs. All right.
Man, I gotta watch that show again so I can do my
Yeah.
Roz impersonation.
Oh yeah. I used to like who was the janitor? Remember they used to
Scatman.
the heavy guy.
No,
the heavy guy.
I don't remember good times that well.
really.
Yeah,
As
I
a-
remember what's happening a lot better.
As a kid,
Well, yeah,
as a
yeah.
kid, if you're going to get into the African American sitcoms, I was a bigger fan of What's Happening.
What's
but
Happening?
I also watch Good Times.
Every day I got home from school, I got home about 3:00. There was an hour of Little Rascals from 3 to 4. And then 4 to 4:30 was Sanford and Son. 4:30 to 5 was What's Happening.
Okay.
and
Sanford
that
and
was
Son's
my
great
that
too.
was my whole high school. It was an hour of Little Rascals and What's Happening Sanford and Son.
That's
and
a
then-
pretty good. That's a pretty good block.
Yeah, that was serious. Yeah.
Weird mix.
It is, but it's okay. I love
You just have
Sanford
to
and Son.
talk to the programmer about that. That's just like, what are you thinking? It's like, well, the kids are coming home.
I'm not meth. I'm not thinking at all.
Little Rascals for me, it was almost always on a Sunday.
Sundays, yeah.
You know, they were definitely, when I was much younger, definitely a weekend thing.
Yeah.
Always weekend. But for some reason, when I was in high school, it was 3 to 4.
Huh, yeah, I'm trying to think. For me, a lot of it was like
No
Cheers.
Archie Bunker in there?
No, that was earlier for me than high school, and that was with my grandfather, who basically was Archie Bunker. No, I'm not even kidding.
Not even kidding?
Not at all.
No.
Did he have an Archie Bunker chair too?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, my dad
Yes,
had
he
one of
did.
those.
Yeah.
And when he
Couldn't sit in it. That was his chair.
And when he died, it said in his will that he wanted to be buried with a gallon of pop-off vodka. He wanted it in his fucking casket. So
Because that cost $1.50. So.
oh yeah, I know exactly how much it cost. I used to have to pick up. They sold them in like cases of 6, and every week I would have to pick up because that's what he would go through in a week. 6 gallons of pop-off vodka.
Man.
And he died at 196.
Pop-off is bad. I mean, you
That's
can
bad
only
stuff.
Yeah, there's
And
only
he
one
smoked
more.
Moors. Remember those long brown cigarettes?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Roland was a strange guy.
Yeah, they live differently in that time.
They
yeah.
definitely did.
Grandpa Roland.
Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner.
Now, being of your age, kind of close to my age, and do you see a lot of pictures of yourself from when you were a kid and realize that in the 70s there were no colors other than brown, orange, and yellow?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, there was green.
Everything looked like Caldors.
Yeah, Caldors.
Yeah.
It was the Caldors rainbow was like everything.
Yep.
You doing all right?
I'm doing good.
You doing all right?
Doing good.
Okay, all right.
Don't worry about me.
I'm good. Oh no, I'm
I'll
gonna
tell
worry
you if
about
I'm. Not, I'll tell you if I'm not doing.
Okay,
all right.
you give me the sign, and
I'll give you the. Yeah, I'll give
we're
you the
out
high
of
sign.
it. All right, so let's get right into it. Well,
Before it just collapsed.
Yeah.
we've been doing this since I think February of. February was the first episode, so we've been pretty much recording these and putting them out throughout the course of 2019. 8 Universal horror movies, and we are hitting the last one. Today we jump to Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes.
And so this is capping off the series we've been doing. And Lloyd, why don't we start right off the bat with you giving us some info about the Creature from the Black Lagoon, when this movie come out, good stuff like that.
I can't believe we're on the last one already.
I know. Well,
crazy,
you know,
right?
We were all
Already.
really looking forward to this one, I believe.
I feel the same way. And I think what John just said is like, I can't believe we're doing the last one, but like already is kind of because it feels like and I'm glad we've been doing this for like a year.
It feels like a long
And just
time.
to stress, I mean, it's just the reason we picked these movies. It was in the box set,
Right. I picked up a box set for Christmas.
There's a lot of extraneous other films.
Yeah, there's tons.
Yeah.
that we didn't get into. So
Right.
So there is that.
Yeah,
Right.
the eight ones seven that I would consider the most popular, and then one that I don't know what the fuck was doing in there. Phantom of the Opera, 1943.
Did you release that one?
I have not, but you know what? I'm actually by the time this comes out, that'll have already been out.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to that week because it's only 37 minutes long, and for me, for editing, that's like literally like an hour's time, and I'm done.
That's one of our shortest episodes ever.
It is. It will be the shortest episode. We did the episode about Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
That was like 40 minutes.
Okay.
This is like, and that's before editing. This thing might end up being like 35, 34 minutes.
There wasn't much to say.
No,
No.
we were all pretty much.
It was between the fact that movie
unanimous.
wasn't much to say and that we recorded. This is also kind of what's making me think about how we're doing these. Is like we started in the winter, it was cold. We recorded that one on the hottest fucking
That was
night
one
of
of
the
those?
year.
Okay.
Right? Like July 20th, I think it was, the hottest night of the year.
So like, hurry up so we can get the AC on.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Let's kill that movie.
Yeah, and I also want to point out too that if you are listening to the Pint and you're enjoying the Universal the horror films we're covering with Larry, if you ever skip around on the Pint, I'm going to tell you right now, you got to go back. I don't remember episode numbers, but they're right next to each other. 2 episodes: the Mustard and Crunchy Frankenstein Sock, which cover the Invisible Man and the Bride of Frankenstein.
Those two were
honestly think those are two of
That
the
was
best episodes.
the peak of this recording. Yeah.
Probably.
Two of the best, in my opinion, Pint episodes, and
Yeah.
we're past 100 at this point. I think those are 2 of our best episodes we've done. Editing, I always have fun. I always laugh. I laughed so fucking hard through those 2 episodes.
We laughed so hard when we recorded
yeah,
them.
yeah, it was a good time.
Those are great movies.
Yeah,
I think those are among our favorites. So
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so will this one be among the favorites?
Ooh, let's find out.
Let's
Let's find out.
dun dun
finalize
dun.
the series well, I think. Oh, jeez.
So when we started this, it was Dracula, which was 1931?
31.
31. This movie here, Creature from the Black
What do you
Lagoon,
mean?
1954.
We're 23 years later.
23
Yeah.
years later.
In 1954.
He was probably already dead at that point. I think
No, he was
no,
still
no,
alive.
he was still alive. Yeah.
Okay.
But I was
But you got three decades of coverage there.
3 decades. I mean, think about it.
I was strung out.
Think about what the world went through. We went through a second world war.
Yeah.
In between the time these 2 movies had come out, this shit had all happened, and I mean, the advances in film and movies and everything. It's amazing.
Went from big band to Elvis.
Yeah, really.
All right, Tommy Dorsey, what do we got?
All right, so this movie came out. It was released March 5th, 1954. I don't really know what else was released that week.
That's cool.
Christine by John Carpenter.
yeah.
It had a shoestring budget, is about the best I could come up with. Maybe 500,000, but I seriously don't think it's that much. In the box office, 1.3 million, which was pretty good.
Pretty good for $1954.
It's considered a hit, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's basically, what do you guys think of it as far as a monster movie?
I think it's a monster movie.
Yeah,
it's got a,
it's definitely
got a monster.
It's the basis of many other monster movies. So it's
This
it's
is
exactly what
the
you're gonna
first
get.
one that was legitimately a monster.
Yeah.
Right? Dracula
Right.
was a guy. Wolfman
What
was
do
a
you
guy.
mean?
Frankenstein was a dead guy.
Yeah, this
is a monster.
Yeah,
This was never a guy.
No, this is a
This is
straight
a
up.
monster.
This is a throwback to not Jurassic. They keep saying the Denovian era or
Yeah,
something.
Denovian.
yeah.
This-
I got a
this-
little bit of notes on that too.
Okay, this is actually a creature from a past time that has somehow survived through the ages.
But it's also a universal property. It's not something appropriated from something else.
Right,
Right.
You're right. Yeah,
Right.
the Gillman is straight up like.
Yeah, it's there.
Is that the only original one? Because I think that's like the
Well,
only.
we
one
don't know what was all in between that's not in the box set.
in the 8 we're talking about.
Oh, in the 8,
everything
yeah.
else was either adapted from a novel or already something that existed.
Yeah.
This is a straight up.
was it.
Yeah, this was it.
Tell you a little about that. So this was directed by Jack Arnold.
Yes.
Anybody
Yes.
know Jack Arnold?
I will tell you one thing I do know. I didn't do a lot of research myself because I knew you were taking care of it. But Jack Arnold became a pretty big TV director, and I guess he directed like
Everybody
bulk.
in this movie was really big in TV.
Really,
Yeah.
Jack Arnold directed a large amount of the Brady Bunch episodes.
Oh, did he?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
I do know that he's from New Haven.
Oh, really?
Right. He was
as they say, gun waving New Haven.
he was born on his kitchen table. in
I
New
did not
Haven.
know that.
Yeah, right on the kitchen
I
table.
hope the table's still there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got a Jack Arnold scene.
He was definitely for film known for sci-fi.
That's right.
It came from outer space, Tarantula.
Oh, I didn't know it came from outer
Yep,
space
the Incredible
either.
Shrinking Man.
Well, you got to think about it.
Yeah.
The 50s was sci-fi it.
Hey,
you
that's-
know,
that's all it
and
was.
they
He
made
dominated the
B-rolls, but,
sci-fi
yeah.
movie scene in the 50s.
Wow.
A lot of the people that were in it are sci-fi
Yeah.
regulars. So.
Yeah, I didn't recognize the ton
Dr.
of the
Mark.
cast.
Dr. Mark was in tons of fucking.
Oh well, we'll go down the list.
Well, yeah, we'll get Mark. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
Oh,
there,
I've
Lloyd.
got I got
Get in
lots,
there.
lots to say.
All right,
Another little known fact, you know Tom Arnold?
I've known him.
You know him?
Yeah.
Roseanne's ex-husband.
His father is Jack Arnold.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Not this Jack Arnold.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's fucking fuck you, Lloyd. Jesus.
His father ate Arnold's bread
Yeah.
from the
Yeah,
bakery.
really.
His father once had a sandwich at Arnold's Drive-In.
You know
in
Tom
Kenosha-
Arnold?
Kenosha, Wisconsin.
He's a dick. Okay.
You know, that was actually, I think we talked about it many episodes ago. That was a Larry fact. Remember how we said there was going to be Larry facts?
Yeah,
where Larry
a
just made shit
false
up?
Larry
False
fact.
Larry fact. That was a false Lloyd fact.
That's right.
I like it. I like it.
So produced by William Allen, who was actually he did quite a bit of movies. Actually, most of the ones I think you
Have you,
mentioned.
you ever heard of Marcus Allen from the Raiders?
There we go. So another thing for William Allen, he was the role of the reporter in Citizen Kane.
Oh,
Tried to
I didn't know
discover,
that.
what Rosebud was.
Never saw the movie.
Yeah. Oh, you never
Oh,
did?
Nah, I know
You
the
know,
twist ending.
Let me. It's
you know,
not
it's
that
like
great.
one of the best. What?
What's that?
It's not that great.
Yeah, I know. That's what I hear.
Okay.
You a big fan, Larry?
I mean, as a film guy,
Don't listen to him.
yeah. It's one of the best movies of all time. It is.
It's about a fucking sled, right?
It's about a sled.
It's There's a bigger story to it.
no,
but-
John. It's
Yeah,
it's
I
about
know.
a sled.
I know. I'm
just let it happen.
I'm not trying to. Oh,
I like how roles are reversed with the two Johns right now.
fuck you, Larry.
That's
No, he was going for you.
yeah. I was on
He
your
was
side.
on your
this time.
side.
Yeah, I know.
I got that.
This time, this one's the human rain delay. Citizen Kane. Whatever.
Moving on.
Casablanca. Fuck that movie.
Casablanca was shit, man.
Okay.
Casablanca was shit.
Oh, I wish we had
I've
that.
never seen Casablanca.
Don't. It's shit.
What's happening right now?
Oh,
I just slipped into some
Casablanca-
weird fucking world.
I'm not a fan of Casablanca either, but I realize it's a decent film. He watched it, and his reaction to it was hysterical.
Casablanca is 2 hours of, or an hour and 40 minutes of Humphrey Bogart, who, up until
Not a great actor. I'll
Right,
give it.
and-
I love Humphrey Bogart.
and everybody loves him.
It's good to you can love him.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, not a great. He's himself. He's nothing.
He has limitations.
Yeah, that's a way to put it.
His character,
Kind of like Jeff Goldblum has limitations.
Oh yeah, well there you go. All
Exactly.
right.
his character in
Humphrey Bogart is
Casablanca.
Humphrey Bogart. That's
The
it.
character he plays in Casablanca spends like an hour and 40 minutes like being butthurt that a girl dumped him like 10 years prior, and it's just like the whole movie's like, you don't know what you did to me, Elsa. You broke me up in two, Elsa. It's like, shut up.
These poor listeners are like, they're gonna get to the movie, right?
My fault.
Probably not.
I think that was my fault. Let's go.
No, we all keep doing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if people are listening to this show and they haven't gotten used to this shit by now,
Oh, really? Go back to the mustard.
Why the fuck are they talking about Casablanca?
now if it's your first episode, I'm sorry. Yeah, and we promise to be much more focused later.
Citizen Kane.
I doubt it.
I know. We're like a running
So
joke.
this producer William Allen,
Yes.
in 1941, was at a dinner party with Orson Welles
And he
from
squatted out Irwin Allen.
Citizen Kane, and he was told the myth of a half fish, half human creature from the
I
Amazon.
did read this, yeah.
And he decided 10 years later to write a little story about it.
10 years
Yeah,
later.
and that's
Reminiscing on his chat with Orson Welles.
Yep.
Taking a
So
dump,
about that half fish guy.
I like those frozen peas.
squatting one out, going, you remember that time I talked to Orson Welles about fish people? I'm going to write a fucking story. Oh, hold on.
And something I found interesting, it's kind of a King Kong storyline, right?
Okay.
Creature
Oh,
falls in
yeah.
love with
Yeah.
a woman,
Yeah, you
steals
don't know
her
if he's
away.
in love with her or if he wants her for
wants
some
her.
reason, yeah.
He wants to be with her for
Right.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll get it.
I mean, he did the dance of love under the water,
That was
right?
a great scene, by the way. Yeah.
There's a lot of good scenes in this film.
And he actually, the ending of the scene, the movie, which we'll get to, was written that way on purpose in case there would be a sequel.
Which there were.
There were two.
Yes,
right?
two sequels.
There were two, and I haven't seen
The
either.
first of which,
Two inferior sequels.
That's why.
Larry, you know?
Sorry.
What's special about the first sequel?
I don't know.
I believe it's the first sequel. Clint Eastwood's first movie.
Oh, I did not know that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That the first one is Revenge of the Creature in 55. And then The Creature Walks Among Us,
Yeah.
1956.
Yeah,
The
it's
Creature
the
Walks Among
55
Us
movie.
is
Which is where the Misfits got the album title Walk Among Us.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hey.
So the screenplay was done by Harry Essex and Arthur A. Ross, who basically they did a lot of screenplays back in the time. There's a lot of credits, a lot of movies that most people would have at least heard of.
Right.
With all these people associated with this movie.
yeah.
Now, they didn't, I forgot to check because I was in the fucking AFib while rewatching this. They did not list who played the creature in the credits, right?
There's two.
There's two
I know,
actors
I know
with
there's
that.
two, but I don't think they
they?
listed
No,
I don't think so,
I don't
no.
think so.
It's
You know,
Ben,
I
it's,
didn't-
it's
I didn't
Ben
pay that
Chapman,
close
Ben
attention.
Chapman on land, and Rico
Right.
Browning underneath water.
Yeah.
But I don't think they listed them. And
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Unless they just list them without saying as the creature, they might have thrown their names into the credits, but they don't do it as like they did in Karloff as the monster or
Right.
question mark or whatever.
Right.
What was it? As her, whatever.
Right.
They
Yeah.
I don't think they did any of that in this one.
Yeah.
They might have just thrown them in there.
Apparently, Universal wanted people not to even know that it was a person in a costume somehow.
They were
Well,
like,
in this movie, they did a good job with that.
Yeah.
And there's if you have the details about the guy in the suit and what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
We'll
let's
get
do
into
the,
some of that.
Let's do the cast real quick.
cast.
Let's go through who the cast was.
All right, so Richard Carlson as Dr. David Reed, who's he's the fiance of the main, lady there.
He's our hero.
He is our
He's
hero.
the hero,
He is our
I guess.
hero.
He's the good guy.
I had a bit of a trouble just kind of like catching on people distinguishing who's who in this movie.
The characters in this movie were
They look the same.
Look
Did you
the
notice
same.
The two male
The
leads.
two male leads
They're
well,
very similar.
here's the other
and
thing.
they're shirtless most of the movie. So
and here's the other thing too, and tell me if you noticed this, but so the two male leads looked very much alike.
they do have very similar.
One's darker
features.
hair, one's blonder.
Right.
They're shirtless 90% of the movie,
Yep.
same body type.
Yep.
And the other thing is that did you notice that they both changed their stances on everything over and over again? Like we're gonna leave now. No, we can't leave now. We have to study this. And the next scene after something happened, we have to go now. No, we're not leaving now. We have to study this. They kept on flip flopping.
that?
Oh, they did it more than
I
once.
didn't, but then again, you're dealing with a cast of 6 or 8 on a small vessel. It's going to be difficult to do something in front of that camera unless you do move
Right.
and shift and make it look like something's going on.
Well, no,
So
I just mean shifting like their arguments. They
No,
kept
no,
on
no. I
going
know.
back and forth.
They move from left to right, left to right.
No,
right to left.
no.
right.
I mean, like the scene I'm talking about is towards the end, one of the crew members gets killed, and David says, Mark says we have to go. The expedition is dangerous. We lost 3 people, and Mark says we cannot leave for the sake of science. We have to stay. Literally one scene later, I think the creature tries to get the girl again.
Yeah.
They change now. David's going, okay, we got to go, and then
Right.
Mark is like, who you would think would go, you know what? I said it before. Let's go. He's like, no, we have to stay. This is science. They did that multiple times.
Yeah, and a lot of it wasn't science for at least the next guy. So.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lloyd. Who's the next character?
I'll go with Julie Adams. I think, was she billed as Julia?
She was billed as Julia.
She was billed as Julia,
But
that went
she
back and
changed it to
forth.
Julie.
She died this year,
Yep. February.
Yes.
February, at 92 years old.
Yep. Arguably best known in this role, even though she had a very rich and long career.
Oh my
So,
God, there's so much stuff.
Yep.
She was co-starring with everyone: Rock Hudson, Tony Curtis, Jimmy Stewart, Elvis.
Did you guys happen to notice her camel toe? In the in the
Really?
scene, yeah.
Really?
I didn't look.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
I made my wife look at it last night. I said, well, no, because it's such a surprise that these are
Big DPI on that one.
these,
so-
these are movies. These are movies that, as we were talking about earlier, in the 30s, they wouldn't use they wouldn't use the word God in one of them because they didn't want to. Right?
for years
In
they wouldn't.
Frankenstein.
Right. And then here we are in 1952, and the scene where she's about to jump in the lagoon, she takes her robe off, and she's wearing a very nice one-piece bathing suit, and there's absolute Clam Valley right there.
There's a reason my father loved this movie.
Yeah.
And,
Juliet.
And that was one of them.
and considering the fact that he didn't like naked women, it's
Right. Oh, yeah, we did
We've
learn
learned that before.
We learned that. And just a quick question about her before we move on.
Yeah.
Was she a swimmer as well? Was she one of these?
I
Yeah,
tried to
right?
find all that, and
Yeah.
There's no mention of it anywhere.
I would think she had to be.
I think everybody had to be
Yeah,
because I think they
yeah.
all did their own.
she
swimming
seemed like. Well,
roles.
yeah, they had to back
Yeah.
then. She seemed like she was a very good swimmer.
A very good swimmer.
That
She
whole,
was.
the whole scene where she's swimming and the creature's swimming along with her and she's not
Well,
aware
even
of it.
before that,
Yeah.
I thought
know.
for sure she was maybe a synchronized swimmer. Or
I was thinking
maybe
'cause-
an Olympic swimmer. Or,
Remember that was a big thing in the 40s, those movies where, everybody was,
yeah.
diving into whatever.
Esther Williams.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. So in her Twilight career, she did a lot of.
She was in
TV.
Twilight. I had no.
Really, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She was in
favorite,
Titanic.
Those are my favorite vampire movies.
Sparkles.
I'll say a few. She did Murder, She Wrote, Streets of San Francisco, Policewoman, The Incredible Hulk,
20-year gap between these two shows.
Agnes and Lacey, Quincy, just tons of stuff.
Quincy Emmy.
Yeah, Quincy Emmy.
She did every TV show on CBS in the 70s and 80s,
Yeah,
basically.
and the Capital soap opera Capital.
Jack Klugman.
Yeah,
Quincy.
you remember like
that
going to
was
the
a great
malls?
show. I love that show.
Do you remember going to the malls
was-
in the 80s and they had like Jack Klugman popcorn stands?
I
Remember
do
that?
not remember that.
Yeah.
Why
I don't
the
know
fuck-
what you're talking
why
about.
in the fuck would they have
Oh.
Jack Klugman popcorn stand?
Jack Klugman. Wait. You
I have never. Have you heard of this?
You have. I think it might have been the Crystal Mall in
Oh, yeah. 'cause, it's Waterford. Waterford.
and there were more than one. Look it up.
Watertown?
I don't know if it's still a thing, but they used to have. It was the Jack Klugman.
Not Waterford.
He owned a popcorn business, and
I did not remember.
I never
this.
heard
yeah,
of it.
and it was like he had like
not.
40 different kinds of. It was like ice cream, but it was popcorn,
Like
tubs.
gourmet popcorn.
Strawberry, chocolate, Neapolitan. I don't know, fucking mint,
Caramel.
Caramel. But yeah, Jack Klugman popcorn.
What the fuck?
Yeah, look it up. You'll be surprised.
I don't know if I want to. All right, I will. I will.
You look that up, Larry.
All right.
Jack Klugman.
Be something to do here.
JKP.
All right, so
popcorn.
moving on, Richard Denning as Dr. Mark Williams.
Who was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking prick.
Also,
was. He was
lot
a
of TV
good
shows.
prick.
He was good.
He was a governor, Paul Jameson in Hawaii Five-0.
He was he was in tons of science fiction movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
And man, did he have a terrible criminal career.
Like in real
Did he?
life?
Oh God, he had more DUI arrests in
Jesus.
the 40s and 50s than I think any man would ever have, and still had a Hollywood
Really?
career. Yeah, he had some pretty deep ones.
Wow.
Well, that was a different time. You could get fucking arrested all the time back then. Nobody fucking knew anything about it.
Yeah, but to have that many listed, I was like, holy crap! And he was still driving.
Yeah, back then it didn't matter.
Back then, they
No,
just took the
no.
beer out of your
Just
hand.
Right?
Said,
Yeah, exactly,
Send you
yeah.
on your way.
Right.
Give me that beer, son. Now go ahead.
Yeah.
You're mixing drinks on your front seat.
Put that down there. All right. Who else do we have?
But he was great. I really liked him.
Lloyd. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Who played Lucas?
Yeah, that's right. I was going to get to
That's
him.
my favorite actor in the whole fucking movie.
He's the best one, right?
Even I. Lucas.
Can we agree with that?
Yeah.
What?
Did you
Nestor?
like- Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason I like him.
Yeah, Nestor, how do you say it? Pava?
Pava.
Yeah, he was Captain Lucas. Most famous for his role of Teo Gonzalez, the innkeeper in Zorro.
If you saw him earlier in the film when they had all the doctors lined up and they're all checking out the hand,
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome.
he was the bald guy with the weird hair sticking out the side.
was he?
Yeah, that's the same guy.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, really?
I had no idea.
Yeah, he was a good crusty old captain there. He was funny in that role.
Do you know how I know him?
How?
Johnny Quest.
Oh, is he a voice?
He did a number of voices for the original show.
Okay. He had the great line in the movie just where he says, where they're talking about something and he says, I, Lucas.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, all right, guy. All right.
What do you get from these rocks?
Yeah. Well, Lucas, I tell you what I get from the rocks. I can learn all about our history.
You're fishing for rocks?
That was such a great scene because he's just.
This movie's full
What do
of
you
great
mean?
scenes.
All right, so how about we go on to the Gill Man?
All right, yeah. Who played the Gill Man?
The land version of the Gill Man was Ben Chapman, a Marine Corps veteran from the Korean War. He's about 6'4", 6'5", something like that.
Big guy.
Big dude, much bigger than the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rico's not big.
Yeah, and he spent most of his time kind of by himself trying to cool off because he couldn't get out of that suit. He couldn't sit down in the suit. I think he just kind of laid there in the lake or something, just like the creature.
I'm watching the movie last night, and the scene where she's swimming in the lagoon, and he's swimming under her, upside down.
Yeah.
And she's very graceful, and he's still amazing what he's doing. Yeah, I love my wife,
But that's the other actor.
yeah, Rico Browning.
Yeah, that's
right.
Rico, yeah.
Who was in all three of the movies.
Oh, was he the creature?
Right.
So was Ben Chapman. Oh yeah,
Is that true?
Chapman played him in any dry scenes in all three.
Okay.
And Rico played him in any wet scenes.
But Rico's the only monster still living.
Yep.
Really?
The only original Universal
And he
monster
was
still alive.
like a Olympic swimmer, right? Is that what his thing was, or no? Am I wrong?
I don't
Olympic.
know. I
He was-
didn't get that he
okay.
was. An
He was a
Olympic
professional.
swimmer.
He was a
Yeah.
professional swimmer.
So we're-
underwater choreographer.
We're watching I'm watching the movie
Director,
last night.
actor.
My wife is just playing around on the iPad or whatever, and she's watching that scene, and she's like, she's such a better swimmer than him. And I said to her, I'm like, he's got like an 80 fucking pound suit on,
Yeah.
and he's upside down.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy is
Tell
pretty
me
amazing.
that's not amazing, right?
Oh, totally
The
amazing.
gracefulness of her and the just alienness of
Yeah.
that. It's just awesome.
You know what?
hell of a-
What show he ended up co-creating? Lloyd, with your facts.
I believe I do.
Oh, you do?
TV show?
Yep.
Flipper.
That's the one.
no shit.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, co-creator of Flipper.
He told me that himself.
Oh, did you meet him?
He was
Uh,
at Connecticut Horror Fest a few years
Was
ago.
he really?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Sweet guy. Real sweet guy.
That's awesome.
He was also included in Caddyshack, Thunderball, and Never Say Never Again.
Wow. And was he strictly like a stunt guy, or did he actually?
No, he was a producer, screenwriter, underwater cinematographer, director, actor, stuntman, everything.
Well, again, with my limited research in this one movie, I will say one of the things I did read that I was very impressed at is that in a lot of the scenes where, because like half of this movie, he's basically hanging out in the fucking underwater.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
He's just kind of like hanging out like in a bunch of
Staring.
staring, and he's in a bunch of what do you call it?
Weeds.
Like weeds.
Yeah.
Like he would hold his breath for 4 minutes at a
Right.
fucking time.
Amazing.
Because they didn't want him to come up. They didn't want to have to redo everything. And I did
Well,
know
more than that, did you read this part? The director didn't want the air bubbles coming out of the mouth
did.
of the creature or out of where your head was. He wanted the air to come out of the gills
gills.
of
Yes.
the suit, which did.
right. They redirected
Pretty
it.
amazing.
They redirected it, and they said I guess because I've never seen the next two movies, obviously. In the
They
next two
changed that,
movies,
yeah.
it comes out of the top of his
Yeah,
head.
you can see it right
and they said
away.
it's like very obvious.
They,
but
they changed the suit too because the eyes are different in the second movie.
Yeah.
It's awful.
the actual, I guess, effect of him being underwater and like never seeing bubbles come out of his mouth for 1954 is fucking awesome.
Incredible. And one more shout out I'd like to do.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was never given her credit in the movie. The Gillman was basically created by Millicent Patrick.
Yes, it was.
All right.
Yeah,
She pretty much created this whole thing, 100% of it, and she was never given credit because the douchebag makeup artist.
Not
right?
only not given credit, but he fired her
Right.
when
Really?
she started telling
Yeah,
people
I
that she
was reading
created.
that.
And I won't even say his name.
Yeah, fuck
But
him.
he didn't do it. It was
I'll say
her.
it's Bud Westmore.
Bud Westmore, yeah.
Very well known
Yeah.
special effects makeup guy.
And-
back
and
Yeah,
then.
and he was contracted by Universal, so he was.
And she was a Disney color animator.
She was a color animator. She came up with this thing. She never got credit for it in the movie.
She didn't get credit for it until like 3 years ago.
Right. It
Yeah.
just
That's
happened.
unreal.
Yeah.
And she's also uncredited as well. Came up with the design or worked on the design for the mutants in This Island Earth.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it came from outer space, the creature design from that. And she, like he said, she worked on Fantasia as a Disney artist. But yeah, this Westmore guy or whatever probably would take credit for creating the Gillman suit.
Yeah, sure, because it was pretty fucking cool.
I watched. I can't remember the website, but I was watching this show about collectors, and it was this woman, and she bought, I guess, one of the versions of the suit, maybe used in the screen. I can't remember if it was a screen used or not.
Yep.
And she talks about that, and this was like 2 months ago. I watched it, and she said that Millicent Patrick was a woman in 1953 who created this like iconic fucking thing, but nobody knows that. Because this douche barrel, took credit for it for years, and nobody actually gave her like real credit until, like you said, like what 2015.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. She's probably been dead for 20 years or so. So that's pretty fucking impressive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're not going to go to the next guy on the list?
Who's the next guy?
Who do you want?
Yeah, you got to talk about Whit Bissell.
Yeah, well, he's in there.
Whip Bissell.
Whit.
WHIT. Whit Bissell as Dr. Edwin Thompson.
He's the one that gets mauled by the creature later on.
Everybody gets mauled.
He
by
was
that.
a-
No, he lives.
But he survived. The one
he gets
we're all
bandaged
wrapped up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big character actor of the time.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
There are two connections in this movie that go right to Star Trek, the original series, and Whit Bissell is one of them.
Well, what are they?
Whit Bissell is one of them.
What connection? Who did he play?
Whit Bissell plays. He was a guest star in the Trouble with Tribbles episode, where he was the leader of the starbase where it got invaded by all the. And because of that, he's also in DS9 episode, the Deep Space Nine episode of Star
That
Trek.
went back to yeah. Okay.
He got lucky that way.
Hey, it's another paycheck like 40 years later.
And the other guy doesn't have a credit in the film, but he is one of the guys that gets killed in the beginning of the film. There's two of the Indians, one with a really bad haircut.
The bad haircut.
I wanted to bring that up real quick. So
I don't want to call him like
Amazonian.
I guess, yeah, because they're not
Dutch boy.
Spanish or anything.
it's in Brazil.
It is in Brazil,
So
but
they're Portuguese,
maybe we're not sure. Well,
But here's the thing.
Hard to say.
I'm just calling them Amazonian.
Sure.
I didn't write it in my notes, but the first thing I thought of was that in Brazil at this time period, everybody that at least works for this doctor, the geologist,
yeah,
has the haircut that I would describe as a cross between the Beatles
that awful
and cavemen.
It's so
I called it
stereotypical of
Dutch
the
boy.
time.
That's
Dutch boy,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
was
stereotype.
bad.
Yeah.
It was
And the one guy that has the one that gets killed in the beginning is there's a story about him that was pretty interesting. But the other guy, the one that had his shirt off, the younger guy,
Okay.
he plays a character in one of the in the Shore Leave episode of Star Trek, where I think he's actually in 2 episodes, but he plays a Mexican American or Mexican character for Star Trek. And I think he gets married eventually.
You know, it's
pretty
amazing
cool.
with these with the studio
These
system
character
back
actors.
then that they
they
they're in
turn
everything.
you out.
Literally, your job as opposed to like imagine if you're like a day laborer or something now, and you just get hired to go work here or work there. There, it's like, okay, today you're on Star Trek. You know,
Right.
today you're central casting. Okay, today you're on fucking Car 54. Where are you?
But I'm looking at this guy now. He's obviously of Spanish descent of some sort in his real life, and here he is in this film, and he's shirtless. That's unusual. I mean, that probably wouldn't have happened at a later point, because the way they are, the Hollywood.
yeah. Well,
I can't have a shirtless non-white in the movie,
yeah. Well, we
I'm
had
non-white.
we had so much shirtless white guys. That
I know.
They probably had a chart and said we could fit in a shirt.
Take a look at that guy. I'm looking at him like, how is he going to get? Oh, they're not going to show it. He just gets mauled in the tent. Okay.
Yeah.
Face over his hand, right?
Yeah. Well,
And the other guy, the one with the bad haircut, which is obviously
There was
a
like
wig.
4 of them, yeah.
Yeah, but he apparently had a long career in Hollywood as the gunslinger. He was the guy that taught everybody how to use a gun, twirl it, flip it,
Oh,
shoot
okay.
it.
All right.
That was his career. And
Who are you talking about? Whit Bisman?
no. One of the Indian guys. I don't want to call them Indians because who knows what the hell they were.
Amazonian.
Yeah, sure.
Amazonians.
There we go.
Peruvian.
Yeah, because we don't know where we are, right? They never actually say.
No,
what,
they say Brazil.
Do they
right?
say Brazil?
I think they say Brazil at least twice.
before they go to the lagoon.
I don't recall.
when they're
Well, yeah. I think the
that maritime institute in the
tributary?
middle of the lake there.
what was that all about?
That was so legit. What are you
That was-
talking about? That was
it
so
looked
legit.
like the raft from Creepshow 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so
they
legit.
get in the Chris craft and they put it at top speed to fly out to the middle of the lake.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
All right, Larry, why don't you give us the idea of what's happening in this movie? What
Sure.
is the actual plot of this film?
I don't know about the plot, but we definitely start out with a science lesson. I felt like I was like high as a kite in high school, fucking leaning back while my fucking science teacher turned on the fucking the overhead
projector.
and thousands and millions of years ago on planet Earth. And I'm just oh Jesus Christ!
That was
Thank God I'm
definitely
high as a kite right now. So it starts off. It starts off with a science lesson, just so they can give you a little background on how fossils work, basically,
Yeah.
and how the possibility of they want to lend some credence to what they're about to show you. The possibility that something could have slipped through, some dinosaur, something from a past age could still possibly be alive somehow. Kind of like the Loch Ness theory, like. If there's a Loch Ness monster, it's possibly a dinosaur that got trapped in this loch.
I hear it's a giant eel now.
Is that what it is? I don't know what the fuck it is.
That's the latest.
Oh, are you talking about the Loch Ness or Chappie?
Nessie
the,
is an
the
eel.
lake, the Lake Champlain monster.
That's the newest theory. It's
All
a giant eel.
If you ever saw
Because eels stick their head out of the water. all the
if you
time.
ever saw Amazon Women on the Moon, you would know that the Loch Ness monster was actually Jack the Ripper too.
Forgot about that.
Hello, love. Looking for a good time.
So after the science lesson, now we see it was Dr. Carl at that point, right? In
Yeah.
his Amazonians.
Yeah.
digging in some rocks
Luis!
near some Amazon River, and they come up with a claw.
The claw was rad.
It looked really fucking cool.
It
was
looked
pretty
great.
serious.
As soon as I saw it, I thought to myself, and tell me if I'm wrong, amongst like the horror community, which you're a huge part of.
Yep.
Like I can imagine a replica of that, like people going ape shit for
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Just the claw, like on a fucking stand.
Yep.
Because it just looked awesome.
I'm sure they're out there.
I loved how it was just sticking out of the
Yeah.
side of
How convenient.
Look at
David,
what I
look at the
found.
webbing.
Oh yeah, look at the webbing.
Yeah. I love that they're like, oh, well, there must be more of it down the lake. Like, why would its hand have fallen off and just been sticking out?
Yeah.
But that's okay. Logic. Who needs logic?
Yeah,
in a fucking
let's
movie?
let's just roll with the logic on this one because I felt the same way. I'm like, because at one point he said, well, we found this. We'll have to start digging to see if we can find the rest. I'm like, the fucking claw was hanging out the wall. The rest is fucking inside the wall.
Right,
right,
Like,
yeah.
where else would it
Yeah,
be? I mean,
Keep digging it,
yeah,
asshole.
just keep digging. Dig
Science.
dig a foot further,
Yeah.
Thomas Dolby, and blind yourself with science.
Right. So Dr. fucking Carl is super psyched about his hand. And he zips off to take it to the institute while he leaves the Amazonians.
Meanwhile,
Behind.
as he's playing with the hand,
Yeah.
the creature is just 4 feet away.
Oh, that's right. Just
Reaching
throws a
out.
hand out.
The creature's hand. This scene is shot like
The guy's like,
four
"What is
times.
this hand?" So the creature's like, "I'll show you." And he just
Yeah.
puts his hand out.
Puts his hand out, rakes across the dirt,
Yeah.
and then
Dun,
slips
dun,
his hand, and then you get the music. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. Now, I want to ask a question before we jump back into the plot.
Yep.
Was John Williams like inspired by this for Jaws?
I'm sure he was.
I honestly, okay, I love Jaws.
Yeah.
When I watched this movie, my biggest takeaway from this movie was that
Music.
Steven Spielberg
Yeah.
and John Williams were both fans of this movie.
Yep.
I tried looking it up today to see if I could find anything about John Williams talking about like
Creature.
the music. Now, here's the thing with the Jaws music. Everybody, okay, Jaws music. Dun-dun. There's so
much more
much
than that.
more than
Yeah.
that. There's
Yeah.
the strings and the whimsical parts of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was in the music in this movie.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Especially
I'm sure
there's a
Williams
scene
was-
when they're diving, the two guys go down.
Absolutely.
And it's like,
Oh, there's
dun,
tons
dun,
of it,
dun,
yeah.
dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun.
there-
It's like,
absolutely.
wow.
There was that little driving. I was like, holy fuck. That's
Also,
like the genesis of the Jaws
think
theme.
of John Williams' age. Like, he probably saw this in the theater.
Yeah.
He probably saw a creature from the Black Lagoon in the theater. I'm sure it had an effect on him.
Yeah.
Just like it definitely had an effect on Spielberg's underwater camera work.
Do you have
Absolutely.
do you have the music man behind this? Because I saw a list of 3 different names.
I saw
and
Henry Mancini.
Now we're
I
gonna-
saw that too.
Now
and
we're
I
going to talk.
can't-
Now we're going to talk about the music, man.
Yeah, because right.
I love the music, man.
Because I can't prove that he
I'm
was involved
sorry,
with it.
I didn't
in any
actually
way.
write the music
I don't believe I
down.
caught your name. I don't believe I dropped it. Dropped it.
Jesus.
No, but I did see Henry Mancini.
Yeah,
I
which at that time he probably would have been a nobody. So
Right.
who knows? He's just doing the tones.
I don't want to get too far into the music in terms of I can't talk about fact with it, but I did read earlier today. I was doing a little bit of research. There were 3 people. Henry Mancini was one of them, and they each did a section of music at different points. So
Okay.
the score is not one person all the way
Right,
all
right.
through.
Interesting.
The score
I-
is 3 different people working separately, I believe.
But generally, they're only going to list one person in the credits, especially at this time.
yeah, I don't think
They'll give you one credit, and everybody else that might have been working on it at some point isn't going to have a screen credit, but they'll be paid.
right.
Yeah.
Or
the
if they're
books.
Millicent Patrick, they'll just be fucking lost
Oh.
in the annals of time.
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't.
Yeah.
No, she's not now, but
She was just tried.
Yeah.
yeah, there was a lot of Jaws, and real quick, there's like you said, the underwater photography.
Yeah.
The
wow,
scene where
that's
she's
just-
swimming
All of the underwater scenes.
is
are
the Chrissy
amazing.
Watkins scene. The scene where she comes up for air
Oh, right.
is the Chrissy Watkins scene.
Right.
There's a scene where the creature under her and her legs are kicking.
He's
and
touching
The one where he's touching her?
Yeah, and again,
And she's like, "What
it's
was that?"
The scene where she's swimming above him, and he looks. I mean, this is again. I'll never say Jaws ripped anything off.
No.
Man, and again, to be an adult, and I maybe saw this movie when I was a kid,
Right.
where I didn't have that kind of cognizance.
Oh,
of,
this one you saw.
this one I saw. We talked about this on another show. It was like the 3D
Yeah.
movie of the
Oh
week.
yeah.
It was released in 3D, which we forgot to mention.
Yeah, when I
And
threw
it was at the end of the 3D
Yeah.
craze, so
Right.
it wasn't fully released in 3D.
Right. There
Only
were some
in large theaters.
Some screens that were able to handle it could do the 3D,
Right.
and others they got it flat.
when I threw my Blu-ray in last night, it said 3D or 2D, and I was like, oh shit, I don't have real D, so
Yeah.
real 3D.
You know, it's funny you say all that Jaws stuff
You
too.
don't have real D.
I
real,
watched this
real
with
2D, 3D, or whatever it's called.
I watched it with my wife and my 10-year-old son, and when he saw it, they both kind of were not too impressed with it.
Right.
But when he saw it, he goes, "That's just like Jaws."
Yeah, well, it's a good thing your
You know,
10-year-old son's
especially
into Jaws.
those underwater. Yeah, we watch it all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This movie,
Which was nice, beautiful, crystal clear water, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wrote that down.
Considering-
For a Black
From above,
Lagoon,
you couldn't even
Yeah.
see through
Yeah.
the surface, and from below, you could see everything.
for a
Black
Black Lagoon, it's very nice under there.
Very,
Yeah,
very
the-
clear.
This
And
is the
then-
clearest Black Lagoon I've ever seen.
And considering where
Maybe
they
it's
filmed
just
some
black
of it,
on the top. Maybe just the top layer is black.
very interesting. But
So all right, so Carl runs back with his hand to show some people, and then we
got
see
hand.
we go to Kay, right? The next shot is of Kay on the floaty, right?
Right.
Yes.
Waiting for Reed to come up. Reed's underwater, fucking looking for
floaty.
lungfish. I believe he's looking for lungfish at that point.
Yeah, the whole scientific idea behind this is what they're studying is that they're trying to study creatures from fish
Right.
and lungfish because they're trying to determine how they can translate that into outer space.
Yeah.
Kind of science as well. Like if we could learn about how these things, breathed at one point and adapted.
Yeah.
we could learn how we can do this.
It's
They
actually-
chose the lungfish because the lungfish evolved enough to be able to breathe on land, but
Right.
didn't leave the sea.
right.
If someone
So
invited
there-
you to their house,
This is actually pretty smart science when you think
no,
about
it
it.
is.
Yeah.
If someone said to you, Larry, you want to come over tonight, and someone you work with, oh yeah, absolutely, and you go home and you get your wife, and we're going over Bob's house for dinner, and then you get there and they're like, "What's for dinner?" And lungfish.
No, I'm not eating
Yeah,
it.
I'm not eating it either.
Probably not eating
because
it.
even lungfish
I
could
want
be
the legs.
Not even
Yeah.
filleted, just the whole lungfish right there.
Lungfish could be the most delicious food in the world, but just the two words "lung" and "fish" together
Yeah.
is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. But I love so
I'll be your Huckleberry.
so Reed comes back up and hugs Kay or whatever, and I just love the awful scenery in the back when they're speeding off. They're speeding off and they're speeding off of the
wow.
boat.
Yeah.
And it's one of the
You
worst
got
I've
like
ever
a
seen.
bluff in
it's
the
bad,
background.
yeah.
It's almost like two guys running like a painting behind them.
It's so sad because when you see them on the boat riding up to the raft,
Yeah.
and the floaty,
Yeah.
it's a great scene. And then they're in the boat, and you're like, what just happened here?
It's just about like the same background scenery and as bad as the Wolfman when they're
Oh, yeah.
going to
Yeah.
Sir John's castle
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's driving with the guy and it's the same thing.
But
They
this
just-
is like 15 years later. You figure they could have.
nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
They spent all the money
I was
on
going
the
to say they'd probably already blown the budget by the time it was to.
Put the background out of focus.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do we-
there we go.
Hey, somebody check the storage room. Do we have
It's
any
like
backgrounds?
Toons is the driving cat.
Let Toonses try. He loves it. Oh, I love that. So the whole idea now is that they're going to found this thing and they get David and Mark and all these guys. Excuse me. They're going to go
Thanks.
and no problem. They're going to go and they're going to go up the Amazon into the Black Lagoon. Is as Lucas. Lucas is the lovable, affable not tour guide. He's the captain of the ship. The Rita.
He's the captain.
The Rita, right?
Yeah.
This is the ship of ships.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I absolutely, even though it was done on a soundstage, I absolutely loved the scenes where as the boat is going down the river.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the water scenes were filmed in Florida.
Yeah.
Unlike
So-
a state park in Florida.
Okay,
the river scenes in the underwater.
So the scenes where the boat is actually on the river traveling down.
Yeah.
Was that really on a river or was that in a soundstage?
It's down in that location in Florida.
Yeah, in
Oh,
Florida.
okay.
Yeah.
Because to me it seemed like it could have been
It's
man-made.
not half a ship there. It's,
Okay, all right. So it's a full
it's a real
thing.
boat.
I don't know. It just there's so many adventure movies that I like of that ilk. Where it's like these people going to explore something.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
It's what adds to the creativity of the film itself for being on such a shitty budget.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. But you just mentioned my favorite character of the whole film, Captain Lucas.
Captain Lucas.
Captain Lucas is
Lucas.
fucking great. When they get to the dig site with everybody, and they just show him, and he's just fucking lounging under a tree
So
with that
he's got a
smile on
cigar
his
in his
face.
mouth.
So fucking what's his name? What was the not the lead? The lead guy is David, and then what?
David,
Mark?
Mark.
So the hierarchy is Mark is the boss,
Mark's
and
the
David
boss.
is like the scientist who works for him. David and Mark, these two well-toned like guys, are digging, and Lucas, the guy they hired, is sitting there with his hands behind his back, just like
Just sunning
dig
himself.
a little further. You might find something.
He's a ship's captain.
Hey,
I just thought that was hilarious. I'm like,
Yeah.
these are either the two coolest guys to ever rent this boat, Or Lucas is just like, I do this.
I do what I do.
I will poison the animal for you. I will fight against the guildman. I will save everybody in the end, but I will not fucking dig for rocks. I draw the fucking line at rocks, dudes.
Yeah, Lucas had no time for that shit.
No, not at all.
Did we get to the part where they go into the tent and they tell Kay, hey, you stay out there?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody else
Let
is
the
away.
men go talk.
She's
Yeah.
just like hanging out by the lagoon or the lake or the river or whatever the hell they're on at that point.
How many scenes in
Oh, but
this
then we
movie-
get the creature's hand again, trying to grab her.
Again, the creature's hands always trying to grab Kay.
Good shot of her feet for you foot fetishists
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
You guys got
yeah.
something going
And
for
those-
feet.
those-
There's a couple good ones
Oh
here.
yeah, and she had those fun little sandals on that and little strappy.
She was
sandals.
cute. She was definitely cute.
No, she's a good-looking woman.
Good
Yeah.
looking woman. And again, as I said, you got to see her.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many times in this movie did the creature the creature in this movie is fucking like tenacious. He gets on the ship, nobody notices. They fight him off, he's gone. They go into the water to find him or find out what they're gonna do with him. He attacks them, they poison him, they capture him, he gets away, he gets on the ship again. It's like this the last like 25 minutes of this movie are just like this constant. Like he kidnaps her 5 times, they get her back 5 times. Again, and I liked it. But the other thing is how many times did this creature sneak up on them to the point where she was the one that saw him every time and screamed? Had to happen 4 times. In this fucking movie.
There was a point where she screamed. Oh God, it was towards the end, and I'm like,
I'm like,
all
why
right.
are you still scared?
Right. You
Why are you
know
still
what it looks
screaming?
like.
Right, yeah, exactly.
It's not anywhere near you. It's just reaching over the railing of the ship. Okay.
Or it's
Screaming-
smashing something, because this creature really loves to smash shit, especially like lanterns. Like,
Well, I gotta say this. I mean,
He hates lanterns.
he hates lanterns.
Well,
They don't even have to be lit.
Exactly.
Right.
The lantern he smashes when he's climbing up the side of the, and they're like, he hates the lantern. It's
Yeah.
like, well, it wasn't even fucking burning.
right.
Yeah.
He hates
just
glass.
hates
Tiny
glass.
little flash. Yeah. But I mean, when he goes after Whit Bissell's character there and mauls him
Yeah.
towards the end of the movie, I'm like, man, it looked like he's gonna break his back over the side of the railing, and he's like wrenching his neck down. I'm like, this guy's dead. I couldn't remember if he lived or not because it's been so long since I've seen this.
that
movie.
one died.
No, he's the guy that.
No, he lives.
He lives.
Oh, that one lives. Okay,
Yeah. He
lives,
There is another one that he wrecks at the end, towards the end, that dies.
Oh, he kills
what's his
Mark.
Yeah,
He kills
Yeah,
Mark.
Oh,
he
that's
kills
right. He
him.
killed Mark.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
They have that great underwater fight
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he shoots him like how many times?
That motherfucker can take some arrows.
Right?
No shit.
I
No
love
shit.
the spear gun, and they make a big deal about showing off that spear gun.
Not only
What are you going to shoot?
Yeah.
Anything I want.
anything I want. Here, I'm
Fires it into-
gonna
What are you
I'm
going
gonna
to
fire it
shoot?
into your ship.
Right.
Yeah.
There's like no respect. Maybe that was his way of saying, "Hey, you're not going to fucking help dig. Is that your
Yeah.
mast right there?" But
They make a big deal of that powdery stuff they throw in the water too to kind of
Which-
knock him out, which doesn't really work.
did they say
That-
Rufinol?
No, there's another name.
Okay,
for it.
all right.
I don't know if
forget.
any of you guys wrote it down, but it's actually it's a chemical that they use in the next 2 movies as well. He continues to be weakened by this stuff.
Okay,
So
that was some of the.
It's a nice little piece that they carry over through these movies, even though they get progressively worse.
I think when they wrote this movie and they decided to make it in 3D, they were like, we don't have enough 3D stuff. And then someone said, okay, we have to add some elements. And they
Dust.
said, okay, we're going to get this dust that we're going to spray at them. And we need a harpoon gun. Because every time we're going to blast the harpoon gun off, it's going right at the fucking camera.
Well, not only that, it makes that great sound. You know,
Yeah.
gas powered or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
So.
It was pretty rad.
Yeah.
And what was... I didn't realize until he brought it up to develop it. What was that? Was like
the
fucking
giant camera. Yeah.
Fucking huge.
Yeah.
It looked like, I thought it was
Underwater
like a jet,
camera.
like a portable. You remember they put those the propelled things in the
Yep.
in the water to help them fucking.
I thought it was like
That's what I thought it
I
was
thought
at
it was
first.
like a tracker or like some kind of like sonar machine.
I love.
It's a fucking. It looks like the TV I grew up with in my house.
Well,
It's
no,
like
yeah.
a piece of furniture.
It's like a 1970s television.
I'm realizing
And then he
it's a
pulls
camera,
out the
but-
picture that he
Right.
just developed it as like 3x5. You're like,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Well, not only that, but they make fun of him because he missed the shot.
I could have sworn I had it. I could have sworn I had it.
So they're like, "Oh, it's okay. They're there."
He was in the viewfinder and everything.
And Mark's just like, failure. You're all failures.
I know he gets progressively dickish as
Yeah.
the movie goes
You're
on.
a failure.
Well, what does he say to him? He's like, "Don't forget whose expedition this is."
Well, not only that, but stop playing house and come join us.
Well, remember he said to, after after they start the dig and they don't find any more of the creatures,
Yeah.
he says to Carl, I get their fucking names.
Yeah, I
confused.
know their name.
Yeah, I couldn't forget.
All anybody will remember is your failure. Calm the fuck down, Dad.
What a fucking douchey thing to say.
You've got a fucking hand, all right?
Yeah.
Calm the fuck down.
Oh, I gotta love it.
Hey, Mark, that was fucking hurtful.
Yeah.
You hurt me.
helped. It helped to know, like, okay, that guy's the douchey one. That guy's the not white one. That guy's
The
the.
not white shirtless one.
No, they definitely laid everything out right in the beginning. And
Yeah,
in
it's
typical
all tropes, but-
in typical Universal film fashion, Mark, of course, also had a fucking thing for Kay.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Of course,
But this was the least played out of all.
definitely the least.
And I gotta be honest.
But he did. What did he say to her? Are you going to be concerned for me when I'm down there as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
Fuck, shut the fuck up.
You know why?
asshole.
You know why they changed it though? Is because out of all these movies where the best friend's honing in on the girl, Mark was the only one that like was actually good looking enough that she might have done it.
Good looking and the boss.
And the boss, she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh
And
my
he was
god,
just
what,
angry the whole time.
Yeah.
He's like, playing house, are we?
what an upgrade! You're as good looking as him, and you make more money.
Right.
I'm in it.
I'm in.
I'm in it to win it. You know, there was one other Jaws reference I wanted to throw in there. Now, so we're giving you everything that's happening in the movie. The creature keeps coming back, keeps taking Kay. They have fights. He kills more people. In the end, our hero, our hero Mark, ends up. How does he kill me?
No, Mark's not the
David.
hero.
Mark's not the hero.
David.
Yeah. David's the hero.
David.
Yeah,
David.
David.
Mark's the dick.
David machine guns the creature.
Well, they spear him,
They spear him
right, a few
Like,
times.
A few times.
Yeah, multiple times.
And he ends up getting away, and then one of the guys was going to shoot him. He's like, no, just let him go.
Let him go. Let him walk off to death. I mean, and again, much like Frankenstein, you kind of got to feel bad for this dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because like there is a great line in the movie where someone says, right, like, oh no, I'm sorry, this was not in the movie. I was watching a documentary afterwards.
This was in your head. You're like,
no,
You're like,
I
they
was-
should have said this in the
I
movie.
was watching a documentary afterwards with the cast, and one of the guys who was still alive at that point that they made the documentary said, you know, everybody feels bad for the creature. He goes, imagine if you go away for the day at work and you come home and there's people in your house having a party. He's like,
Yeah.
that's basically what's happening to this
Exactly.
dude.
Yeah.
You know, is that I'm sorry, it was not in the movie. It was in the documentary.
Yeah, even Lucas says nobody really fucking goes to the lagoon. The lagoon's it's a paradise that nobody ever returns from.
right. Nobody returns from.
So people don't,
so we
people don't go. we skipped over one of my favorite parts.
yeah, well.
And it was right towards the beginning, right when they got to the lagoon, and Julia, whatever the fuck we
Yeah.
wanna call her,
Julie.
goes for her swim.
Betty.
And Lucas notices she's literally like 30 feet away from the boat. Yeah. And he's like, pull up the anchor, start
Yeah,
the engines. I'm
right.
like, God, calm down.
Yeah.
She's 30 fucking feet away.
You're still far away.
It's funny you say that because as I'm watching last night, my wife catches that scene. She goes, she's like
right
right
there.
there.
Yeah.
Like
And
you
they-
don't have to fucking bring the fucking. You don't have to bring the engines online.
you probably flick a cigarette and hit her.
Right? They pull the anchor up, they move the boat like 5 feet.
Right.
And then they stop again. Drop anchor. Like, you
And
just
how about
pulled
when
it
they're
off.
trying to leave and the creature put some sort of tree branch barrier in front
Oh,
of them?
yeah,
They
that was
couldn't get
great.
around that.
There seems to be about
The
30
dam.
minutes in this movie where they're trying to move this branch with a cable. This is not like a fucking like a tree
No.
trunk. This is literally a pile of branches.
That's all it was.
Yeah. So
The
after
net did better.
the net did do better. So after they end up, they shoot the guy up and the creature. And this is the scene that reminded me of Jaws. Is that as he hits the water and like kind of dies.
Yeah.
The scene of him floating either in death or he's dying reminded me of the shot of the shark after Brody blows it up.
Yep.
Floating to the bottom of the water.
Yeah,
It was
good point.
literally like the same thing. And again, very much to Universal tradition. That fucker ended right
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I'm actually waiting, going. I wonder if there'll be like a little scene where they go back. And,
Nope.
no, it's over. The end.
Yep.
That's it.
You missed maybe the best part of the movie, though.
What did I miss?
When Mark is like, fuck this, we are not leaving, and Lucas pulls out his blade, he's like, excuse me? Puts a fucking
Yeah.
blade to his throat. He's like, this is my ship, Captain. And I was like, motherfucking Lucas.
You
Yeah,
made me head
buddy.
of mission. I am captain of ship.
You're right.
Yeah.
He's eyeballing him, and then all of a sudden Lucas is just like smiling. and
That's
puts
when
the knife to his
Lucas.
chin.
That's when Lucas really solidified himself
yeah.
as my favorite in the film.
I wish I could get his accent down because he has this great spin to his voice
Yeah.
that's just so unique. It's very 50s accenty of South America, but it's also really good.
Yeah, it is good.
Which is, I guess, why he did a lot of voiceover work later on.
Right,
so.
right.
Amazon accent.
Yeah, whatever.
It's an Amazon accent.
South America. Okay, is that better for you?
Yes. Yeah.
That works.
I'm kidding because I think it's funny too.
He speaks. He speaks fluent Amazonian.
funny thing is, the day before I watched this, I went to the Bronx Zoo on Labor Day, and we saw a crocodile exhibit.
Oh.
Good
And
night,
I
Mike.
actually saw a female crocodile do exactly what he did. Like, she was swimming around, and then she just stopped and just fell straight down all the way to the bottom of the little aquarium thing. It was the weirdest fucking thing. And then I saw the creature do it, and I was like amazed. Like, I just saw that happen.
Crocodile's okay though, right?
Yeah, crocodile was
Okay.
fine.
All right.
Wasn't
Shot
dead.
in the
John's
eye.
very concerned.
Want to make sure you didn't. We were
Dr.
all
Mark didn't shoot it with a fucking harpoon or anything.
There's not enough crocodiles in the world.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool to just see that same thing play out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Again,
Crocodile
I immediately, as soon as he started floating down, I went, "That's Jaws. That's the shark with no head and the bone, whatever it is, sticking out and just blood shooting out and floating to the bottom of the ocean."
I'll bet you if you look hard enough, you could find Spielberg somewhere talking about Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'll almost guarantee it.
Yeah.
And if not, he's lying.
Can I bring up real quick? This is totally off subject, but because we're talking so much Jaws, and I'm a Jaws fan, we're all Jaws fans,
And you're drinking
and I'm drinking a
Narragansett.
Narragansett in the can.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Crush it like Quint.
I had gotten a book from a gentleman that we're going to be doing a video review on through a Facebook group. He wrote a book about the making of Jaws 2, right?
Oh.
About Jaws 2, which I enjoy Jaws 2. It's,
do too.
It's not Jaws 1, it's not Jaws.
No.
But I had to go and look. Now, I consider myself a pretty big Jaws fan. If you watch Jaws 2, there's some scenes at the Brody household.
Yep.
And if you don't look, I've seen Jaws 2 20 times in my life. I've never noticed it. There is a barrel. One of the barrels is a flower planter in their front yard.
What do you mean?
One of the yellow barrels.
yeah.
That they floated back on that they used.
Oh, that's funny.
Is used in the movie as a flower
I didn't
planter.
notice that.
One of
I
those
just
ones
watched
he
it last
swam back
week.
on?
It is literally, it is literally just
That's funny.
like a little thing that you see in the background.
That's
and I
cool.
thought that was an awesome little thing.
Yeah, that is cool.
So like I was reading his book and then I put through the DVD and there it is. I can't remember what
Yep.
scene, but there's a scene at the household and you see it
There's
there.
the barrel.
Yeah.
There's the barrel.
I
So
never understood the Jaws 2 hatred. I don't, because there is a hatred. A lot of people really dislike Jaws 2.
It is as good of a sequel to a classic that you can get with one of the major stars coming back, only one.
Yep.
And it's
It had more shark action.
There's a lot more shark action, and it also I always felt with Jaws 2 that it's very much set up like a slasher film.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of teenagers in peril.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I never got it either. I've always liked that movie since I was a kid.
Do you like the shark's demise in that?
It's goofy, but yes.
It's goofy,
It's
yeah.
goofy, but yes.
That's the electric line, right?
Yeah.
The electrical. Yeah.
Open wide. Yeah. It's goofy, but again, it's it feels enough like
It does, yeah.
You get Brody back. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm a Jaws fan.
And his
so-
wife. She's back.
You get her back.
Yep.
You get Murray Hamilton back as the mayor. It's actually a very interesting story about
Another
that movie.
douchebag.
I don't think you appreciate our problem here. That fucking guy.
All right, so we're finishing off the Universal House of Horrors, Scary Larry. Now we've been as we've been going through this, we've been kind of keeping a scoreboard for each one of us as to where we feel these 8 movies have fit in order for us.
Kind of our rankings, right?
Our rankings. So, Lloyd, you want to read them off? Do you want
Yeah,
me to
read them all?
Yeah.
Read them all off,
What
Lloyd.
the? Why are all those capital letters in there?
I don't know.
What are you shouting about?
I write in caps.
I do too.
or
Yeah.
is it? I do too, but not.
Then why are you shitting all over Lloyd?
I clearly mix it up because I
Well,
write.
they're so
I write
large.
mixed.
They're too large letters.
All right. So how about we do this?
Start with yourself.
All right. With me?
Yeah. With
Yeah.
you.
All right. So my number
The other
one,
Lloyd.
after it's all over, my number one is still Bride, Bride of Frankenstein, and then I'm going to put Creature, then Frankenstein, Mummy, Invisible Man, Wolfman, Dracula, and Phantom.
Phantom 40.
Clearly at the bottom.
Let's
for me.
again also
Phantom
let's
of the
also
Opera.
say that this is Phantom of the Opera 43, not the 1922
Right.
version.
Not the Lon Chaney
Not the Lon Chaney version.
Lanciani.
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 Lanciani. It sounds like something from a Maxi Priest song in 1990. Lanciani.
Lanciani Jr.
All right. So how about I let you guys say where you want to rank this one? I'll read your list, but you tell me where to put it.
Where to put it? On, I don't remember. We already did this.
I'll cue you. All right. So John,
What? Oh.
Okay. All right.
your list so far is Bride
That
number
John.
one.
There's 2 Johns.
Well,
He
I
was looking at me.
I was looking at this
Yeah.
in that direction anyway.
Well, I wasn't looking at you.
Bride number one, Frankenstein 2, Invisible Man, Mummy, Wolfman, Dracula, and Phantom at the bottom. So where do you rank Creature?
Well, it's very important that Phantom stays at the bottom. Because that movie was fucking garbage.
Garbage.
As a musical, that movie's probably actually pretty
musical.
good. As a,
Don't forget the
not a
comedy.
good horror movie.
Don't forget the comedy stylings of the two male leads.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck that movie. All right.
Fuck it.
I'm going to go with 2.
Number
It
2.
does not overtake Bride for me, but it is better than the rest.
All right,
And,
so
and I
you're
really,
in
I really did
agreement with
enjoy
me.
it. I really did enjoy it. Yeah, I'm
Your
with
top 3 are the same as me.
you. Okay. All right. Let's go to Sir
All right,
John.
go to Sir John.
Why? Oh.
So so far you have Invisible number 1, then Mummy, then Bride, then Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, and Phantom at the bottom.
Phantom should be on the bottom. It's a stepping stool. Oh, where to put Creature?
Yeah, where are you putting Creature?
Numero uno.
Numero uno.
Oh, Creature overtakes, was it Invisible?
right? Oh,
Over Invisible, yeah.
Wow, which you love.
I did, because, it was all
And I
about the
do too.
mustard.
Yes, it was all about the mustard.
Well, it's a good Creature movie, as opposed to
Yeah,
The Invisible Man, who was a total fucking tool.
Claude Rains was amazing.
right.
Yeah, he was great.
What
This
a
is
douchebag.
This was like a good ensemble of actors that come from all across Hollywood, and then most of them went on to be in other things for a good 40 plus year career. So
And it's also the first of these movies that we've watched because, like, literally the time jump between the last one.
Oh,
and this one feels like a different time period because it is. You know what I mean? It feels like a 50s movie.
Well,
as
and
opposed, there's nothing wrong with the 30s
You know what?
movies.
You know what?
but-
You
And
know
it
what?
gives
You
you good-
don't get in this that you got in the rest. Overacting.
yeah, you don't
You
get
look at
Una
you look at
O'Connor.
all the you look at all the older Universal, and you've got people really coming out there. You could tell that those were stage actors.
Yeah.
Because on
Oh, yes.
stage you have to be
Yes.
big.
Yeah.
You have to be big all the time because you're projecting to a giant audience. So you can see in the older Universal films that these are stage actors
Yeah.
who are used to putting on a big performance. Whereas in Creature, 1954, these are all
You're
TV movie actors.
You're right, and they're almost on the other end where they're
Right.
like again the two lead men like
it's
just kind of like
totally-
blend into
right.
each other.
You've got a bunch of people that I think only one of them, the Carl, Dr. Carl,
Dr. Carl,
I think
yeah.
he's the only one that comes from the silent movie era because he's
he's
that
older,
old.
so it
Yeah.
makes sense. Yep.
But the rest of them have some kind of career. The lead had a big career before World War II.
Yeah, after World War II, he lost his leading man sort of
It's
thing.
interesting. I'd love to learn more about him at some point. But you had some.
That was Dr. Reed Richards, right?
But you get good interaction between all the characters. You get strong personalities. So even though it's hard to determine which person is which, at least you get the personalities. The cinematography is amazing. The
Certainly.
creature
So
design
good.
is fantastic. It's always been one of the best.
Yeah.
It's a great film.
All right, Larry. So your number 1 is Bride of Frankenstein.
Crunchy sock.
Then Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Wolfman, Dracula. The only one who doesn't think the Phantom is the worst. And then the Mummy.
I told you I like musicals. What do you want from me? But
Music, good.
Smoke, friend.
yeah,
Mustard.
listen, I love Creature. Creature, is like I said, really the first done by real actors. You can see real acting done in this. However, Bride still remains my favorite. I'll put Creature number 2.
All right.
There's
Oh,
something
you, me, and John, all the same.
all the same. There's something I've asked you every time. Was this something that your father introduced you to?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. Yeah. And I think the first time I saw it was on 3D on TV.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing, go down a grocery
Go to Stop
store,
and Shop and get
your
your
3D
big
glasses.
Do you guys? I mean, you're old enough to remember this. There was that big 3D push again on TV.
Yep.
Oh, I forget.
was in
Sometime
the
in the
80s,
early
early
80s.
80s.
Oh, yeah.
And you get the 3D glasses at the grocery store.
That's
Yep.
And,
that's when they showed this.
yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
And those red and green glasses I can't see out of.
Oh, those
Yeah.
are those
the
are
worst.
inferior. When
They're
it was
the worst,
released,
right.
it was the gray polarized.
I'll be
one.
totally honest though. A couple years ago, I went to a showing at a little thing called Connecticut called Classics.
Heard of those guys.
And the guy Larry that runs that
Piranha in 3D?
No, no. Larry did Friday the 13th 3 in 3D.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been wearing my glasses for the last year and a half, as opposed to I usually wear contacts, and I've gone back to glasses. And with glasses, that would be impossible for me. But I use the red and blue ones, and I got to be honest, man, it was pretty damn good. It was
works.
pretty good. It worked.
It even works at home.
Really?
If you've got the Friday the 13th 3D, you
I
pop
do.
it in your regular Blu-ray player and put on those red and blue glasses.
Yeah.
It works. My kids watch it all the time.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, no, it was really good, and the actual 3D that they're doing in theaters now.
The digital 3D.
I've done it once or twice. One of the times was a mistake. I went to
really works.
Don't remember what movie I went to see, but they accidentally sold me the 3D tickets
Thor.
before I realized that no, this was a couple years ago.
Thor was
And
great in 3D.
No, it kind of makes my stomach fucking feel weird.
Really? Yeah, it
not a
doesn't.
fan of it.
Yeah, I'm not a
a
fan. I think we were talking.
Yeah.
I went to see Avatar in IMAX 3D because, as shitty a movie as it really is, it's a beautiful movie. And, if you want to kind of experience that the way Cameron wanted you to experience that, which was in the IMAX 3D. And it was amazing.
It was amazing,
But I will
yeah.
never, ever choose to watch something in 3D that I can watch in regular.
Right.
I'll pick regular every time.
I think I'm going to go back. I do have a 3D television, and I'm going to go back and check this out in 3D.
Oh, yeah.
And see how it holds up.
Yeah.
You might see a camel toe in 3D.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on that.
That's the name of the episode, 3D Camel Toe. Is it, Sean? Is that the name of the episode?
It might be.
3D Camel Toe?
It might be. Well, we've been doing this for a while, Larry. Thank you so much. And you know what? Let's do this all over again. Let's start the Scary Larry's Pint of Horrors.
Scary Larry's Pint of Horrors coming
All right,
up.
coming up, we're going to talk about 20 plus Larry picked horror movies, starting with Day of the Dead, the 1985 George A. Romero classic.
It wasn't picked by Larry so much.
Well, we're going through this whole thing where we roll dice and then we put it up on the Facebook, the Twitter, all that stuff. You guys vote. We put it on Larry's website, ConnecticutCultClassics.com. Check it out, and always check out their awesome events. By the time this comes out, I don't know what's going to be playing, so I'm not going to say anything. And there's a show December 14th.
14th, right?
So
Yep.
get your tickets. Awesome stuff coming up. And in true Universal Movies fashion,
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!
all right, testing 1 2, test 1 2.
Testing 1 2.
I'm being sent pictures of pizza muffins.
I don't know what that means.
Testing 1 2 1 2.